I wish I could clearly forecast the future. And I'm hesitant to. I mean, I think what I write in the epilogue is very much based upon what is happening in the present. Um, it's likely that you know that we will see a dramatic shift in the way we approach ideas of economic growth, in which we approach ideas of human happiness, and maybe stop obsessing with GDP growth, stop obsessing with private wealth creation, and think more in terms of equitable societies and so on. But that's not going to happen. We know that. It's not happening in any part of the world.
And you say it's not in the book.
It's not happening there either. So, generalizing on the basis of what we have today, we are looking at potential for serious conflict, serious unrest, not just between different countries, not just between the new emerging economies, which are very hungry for resources and especially hungry for energy, but also conflicts within these nation states. And you see, it's not just that globalization has failed to work in large parts of India and China. It's also, we know it's failed to work in this part of the world. It has created huge inequalities and stagnant incomes for decades on end. I mean, at least here, people had sort of reached a certain, had gone through a few socio-economic cycles before that happened. They already attained a certain level of prosperity before wages started freezing and massive inequality started to deepen. In countries like India and China, where you're looking at massive disparities between the poor and the rich, which have been around for some time now, especially in places like India, and which are rapidly becoming deeply unequal. And there's very little possibility of this left behind population of hundreds of millions of people catching up with either their counterparts in the big cities in Shanghai or Bombay or Beijing, or indeed catching up with the lifestyles of a few hundred million Europeans and Americans. So that creates a reservoir of disaffection, which can easily spill over into violence, and that's already happening. You see that happening in large parts of India. So we're not only looking at competing nation states scouring the world for resources like the Europeans used to do in the 19th century and in the early 20th, the kind of competition that led to major wars, which made the 20th century the most violent century in human history. There's no guarantee that there won't be a repeat of that in the new century with these large countries with massive, much bigger populations than Europe and America, are now engaged in the same kind of competition in a world of increasingly finite resources. Back in the 19th century, nobody had reckoned with environmental challenges. People just assumed there's enough there on Earth, there's abundance there. That assumption we cannot share. So quite apart from political unrest and conflict, there's also the environmental crisis to consider. We've already seen how the lifestyles of a few hundred million Europeans and Americans have caused enough damage to the environment. What will happen when 2.6 trillion, even a theoretical possibility, what will happen when those people start aspiring for or even start to achieve those kinds of lifestyles?
Thank you. We've reached